I can't help it.
You guys, I'm so humble and happy to be back here at SSA Middle School. The middle school was my home from about 2008 to 2010. And then I went on to the senior school, and it quite literally became my home when I got the opportunity to board there. And that was an amazing, amazing experience. And then, as Ms. Gore said, I played football for the high school, and then I got the opportunity to go to University of Pittsburgh. And the University of Pittsburgh was my home for the last 5 years, and did a lot at Pitt. It was an amazing experience, as Ms. Gore said. I got married at Pitt, had great studies in my classroom, and I had an amazing experience in my football career, and it was a full experience. And I say full because I had a whole host of experiences, some amazing and some challenging. You know, some of the amazing experiences, which Ms. Gore spoke about, I got the opportunity to be a captain for 2 years, my junior and senior year, and that was really, really cool. We won a championship my senior year when we were in the ACC Coastal Division, and that's something that hasn't been done since we've been in the ACC. You know, I got the opportunity to travel to Haiti. That was an amazing experience. And so I had a lot of successes while I was at Pitt. But there are two sides to every story, right? Two sides to every story. And a lot of my successes that I had at Pitt were kind of in those last 2 years over the last 5. So I was there for 5 years, and my junior and senior year, really bright, awesome experiences. But my first 3 years, really, really challenging. Really, really challenging. And when I reflect back, oftentimes I don't think too much about the last 2. I think a lot about the first 3. The first 3 years, you guys, I kind of had 2 things going on. For one, you know, in terms of football, I wasn't playing that much. A lot of my playing time came in the last 2 years, and so I was riding the bench, as they would say, for you guys who play sports. You guys know what that is. And 2, I had a really, really, really tough relationship with one of my coaches. All right, and you guys play sports, right? Yeah, you guys have a relationship with your coaches, right? That's an intimate relationship. And I had a really tough relationship with my coach. The gentleman was an amazing coach, X's and O's wise. He was a bit of a perfectionist, very intense. And you guys see me, I'm kind of a relaxed guy. I don't know if you can tell. So we didn't really mesh. We didn't get along that well. And it was tough, you guys. It was tough because, you know, I would come into the facility and we would have a meeting every morning at 7 a.m. And in that meeting, we would watch film from yesterday's practice. And if there were any mistakes, you guys, that I made on the film, I mean, he would let me have it. You guys know what let me have it means, right? You guys got parents and coaches, right? So he would let me have it if there were any mistakes. And say I had a good day the day before. We would go out to practice at 9:30, and if I made a mistake on the field there, he would let me have it some more. So that was really challenging for me. And you guys, it kind of created an environment of fear for me for the first 3 years. There were times when I just thought, man, I don't know if this is really what I want to do. I don't know if I really want to come to work, because honestly, you guys, I was scared to make a mistake. I was afraid to make a mistake. And so I kind of had these 2 realities going on while I was at University of Pittsburgh. On one end, you know, I was dealing with the day-to-day challenges of working in an intense culture, because college football at Division I level is pretty intense. But on the other hand, I ended up having a career that I was really proud of. You know, accomplished some things that were great, had some amazing experiences. And you guys, if I had gone into Pitt focused on being just a football star, if I was just focused on being a football star, you guys, I think I would have really, really struggled. I don't know if I would have made it all the way to my 5th year, because I didn't feel like a star. I didn't see much success until that last year came. But my focus when I went into Pitt, you guys, it was quite simple. I knew that I was there just to do my best. I was there just to do the best that I could in everything that I was involved in. from my academics, right, to my sports, to my relationships with my friends. I knew that I was there just to do my best. And you guys, I had a burden the entire time I was at Pitt because my friends, you know, I had a lot of friends on the team, not all of them, but some of them, you know, they had that mindset that was, you know, I'm just here to be a star. I'm just here to be a football star. And the problem with that, you guys, is that when it was working out for them, when they were doing well on the field, they were happy. But if it just so happened that they weren't playing as much as they wanted to play and it wasn't working out for them, for a lot of my friends, it made them completely disengaged from not just coming to work and being their best, but disengaged from their relationships, disengaged in school, disengaged just with who they were. And you guys, that was challenging for me because the reason why I say it was a burden is because I came from a place where you guys come from, right? SSA Middle School. And I've been there since the 4th grade, junior school and a high school where I was trained and I was taught that there is so much more that is valuable about me than what I can do on the football field. There is so much more to who I am than my ability to produce tackles and interceptions. And so when things weren't going my way, it didn't completely, you know, kill my spirit. It didn't completely kill who I was. But for a lot of my friends, that was the case. And you guys, this is important for you guys because I believe that you guys kind of understand this ideal. You guys were taught the same thing. What is this thing that I'm talking about? I call it agency. Any of you guys know what agency means? Well, I'll tell you guys. Agency is believing that you can really influence your life based on what you can control, right? It's an internal locus of control, an internal focus. I can make things happen. I have options because I know who I am inside. I know what I can control, and I know what I can produce, right? And it gives you freedom in your life because you're not bogged down whenever a vision that you might have for yourself isn't necessarily your reality. You know that you can always exploit different options because you are a person who can work hard, you're disciplined, right? There are things that you've been taught, you've been told that you're valuable. So there are so many things that you can do besides maybe just this one thing that kind of puts you in a silo. So this idea about agency, you guys, which I really developed over my years here at Shady Side, has paid me dividends in my life. You know, on one end, it's really helped me, I'll say, to get my job, all right? So I want to tell you guys how agency has helped me, and then I want to tell you how it's relevant to you. So it was a funny story for me getting my job at PNC. I'm blessed. I'll be an investment banking analyst. I'll start June 26th downtown with PNC Capital Markets. And you guys haven't been through the interview process, but when I interviewed for the job, I didn't even know it existed. It was kind of a funny story. It was about 2 years ago. I wanted to intern with PNC, but I applied way too late in the process. They started their application process really early. And so I ended up interning at a commercial real estate firm called Jones Lang LaSalle. And while I was at Jones Lang LaSalle, I became really close with one of the executives there. We would go to lunch every once in a while, and he took me to lunch with one of his friends who was a real estate developer. And I was sitting and talking with those two gentlemen, and a real estate developer asked me, he said, "Dennis, what do you want to do with your career? What do you want to do with yourself?" I said, "Hey, I'm not really sure. You know, I'm interested in real estate, but I'm also interested in banking. I applied for an internship. It didn't really work out." He said, "You know, Dennis, I like you." He said, I know a gentleman in banking. I can introduce him to you." I said, "Okay, that'd be great." So the next week, I found myself at the lunch table with my friend, the executive, the real estate developer, and the gentleman from PNC who was the head of capital markets. And this gentleman is one step under the CFO. So I'm sitting at the table with these three gentlemen who I don't really know well. And I'm thinking it's just a lunch, you guys. I'm thinking I'm just hanging out, meeting some new people. But it was really kind of an informal interview. I was almost set up in a way. And I didn't know this until later. And you guys haven't been through the interview process, but you will, as some of you 8th graders go on to high school and you begin to think about internships and things of that nature. And generally in an interview, they ask you a series of questions, some technical, some psychological, and they really want to find out your skills, what you know, who you are. But what's interesting about this kind of informal interview, the gentleman only asked me one question. He said, "Tell me your story." I said, "Okay, tell me your story." Okay. So I told him my story. I gave him my elevator pitch. I know you guys know what an elevator pitch is. Gave him my elevator pitch. But when I think back on the situation, I realized that, you know, this gentleman wasn't really interested in my technical skill. You know, it wasn't really, you know, I assumed that he thought that he could probably teach me the skills necessary to perform the job. But he wanted to know, could I represent myself in a way that was indicative of what he wanted at his organization? He wanted to know, could I handle myself in an unfamiliar situation? He wanted to know if I had inner confidence. So what does that have to do with agency? You guys, I can't control whether or not the gentleman likes me. I can't control whether or not PNC wants to hire me. All I can control is how I represent myself, how I communicate to him about my discipline, my consistency, about who I am. That's all I can control, right? And that power comes from within. That's agency, you guys. That power comes from within. So when you understand who you are, you're really able to represent yourself in a way that says, hey, if you hire me, you're going to get this person. And therefore, you are able to be confident in any situation that you're put in, any situation. Another situation where agency really helped me, as you guys know, I played football for the last 5 years, so like many of my friends, I had the opportunity to go to the National Football League. I had a really good year my senior year. I got a lot of recognition from scouts, and I got invited to a college football all-star game. But if I'm being honest with you guys, my heart just wasn't in football anymore after my 5 years. I knew that I wanted to move on to business. I had been studying finance, and I was really excited about the opportunity that I had. And it was difficult to make a decision to say I want to go into business and not pursue the NFL, because everybody around me, even the people who loved me most, thought, hey, Dennis, you know, you get this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The monetary rewards could be huge. You know, why not go ahead and take your shot? But you guys, I understood that if my heart wasn't in it, I knew that I would be okay forging a different path for myself, because I knew that my significance wasn't attached to an ideal that someone had for me, because I knew who I was, you know? I knew that my power came from within. And why did I know that? Because I had been trained my entire life, since being in the 4th grade, Shady Side, from the support I had from my parents, all the people who invested in me, you know, from you guys as teachers, the environment that you guys are in. You know, you guys may not realize it, but they tell you constantly, hey, there are so many things that you guys can be. There are so many things that you can do. You guys are so valuable. You're studying so many different things. And I want you guys to realize that that mindset, that view on the world, it really, really is a gift. It's a gift that not everybody has, as I realized when I was in my career at Pitt. Not all of my friends had that view about the world. A lot of my friends, and you guys might realize this as you mature in your careers, a lot of my friends believed that they could do one thing on this earth, and that was play football. And if it didn't work out, they didn't feel that they were valuable. And that was a tough reality to swallow. And I would tell my friends, man, there's so much more that you could be. There's so much more valuable, and some of them got that message and some of them didn't. But what I want to tell you guys today is that I want you to see that you guys, I believe that you guys in this room, you guys have this gift of agency, right? You guys understand, because I come from where you come from, and I've learned what you learned. And so I know that when you guys leave this place, that you will have a view about the world that is unique. You'll have a view of the world that not everybody has. And I want you guys to realize that that is a gift. It is a powerful gift. And being that you guys have that gift, there's an old adage that says, to whom much is given, much is required. And so the question is, what will you do with that gift? Ms. Gorse, how much time do I have? Because I want to read them a parable.
Actually about
8 minutes? Okay. I want to read you guys a parable. Give me 1 second. I'll read you a parable and then I want to tell you how it relates to you. You guys still with me? Okay. I'm trying to give you guys a break from class. I'm trying. Okay. Okay, you guys, this parable is from the Bible. Don't be alarmed when you hear the word servant, because in biblical times it was custom for a wealthy man to have servants in his household. Okay? So this is from the Bible, okay? It's a parable. A man left home to travel to another place for a visit. Before he left, he talked with his servants. He told his servants to take care of his things while he was gone. He decided how much each servant would be able to care for. The man gave one servant 5 bags of money. He gave another servant 2 bags, and he gave a third servant 1 bag. Then he left. The servant who got 5 bags went quickly to invest the money. Those 5 bags of money earned 5 more. It was the same with the servant who had 2 bags. That servant invested the money and earned 2 more. But the servant who got 1 bag of money went away, dug a hole in the ground, and he hid his master's money in the hole. After a long time, the master came home. He asked the servants what they did with his money. The servant who got 5 bags brought him that amount and 5 bags more of the money to his master. The servant said, "Master, you trusted me to take care of your 5 bags of money, so I used them to earn 5 more." And the master said, "You did right. You are a good servant who can be trusted. You did well with that small amount of money, so I will leave you much more to care for more greater things. Come and share my happiness with me." Then the servant who had 2 bags of money came to the master and he said, "Master, you gave me 2 bags of money to care for, so I used your 2 bags to earn 2 more." The master said, "You did right. You're a good servant who can be trusted. You did well with that small amount of money, so I'll let you care for much greater things. Come and share my happiness with me." And then the servant who got 1 bag of money came to the master, and the servant said, "Master, I know you're a very tough man. You harvest what you don't plant, you gather crops where you don't put seed. So I was afraid. I went and I hid your money in the ground. Here is the 1 bag of money you gave me." The master said, "You're bad and lazy. You say that I harvest where I don't plant. You say that I gather crops where I don't put seed. So you should have put my money in the bank. And when I came home, I would have had interest on my money." Now that's an interesting parable. You guys may have never heard it before. But here's how I think it relates to you. Those bags of money in the parable, it's a gift, right? It's a gift. And it's like agency. Those bags of money, that's agency. And you guys have been entrusted with a gift that I believe that you had because I was given that gift. And the question is, what will you do? What will you do with it when you have a chance to use it? Will you be like the servant who took his gift, buried it under the ground, shared it with no one? Or will you be like the servant who used his gift and invested it into other people? You have a view about the world. You guys, I believe I'm talking to the future leaders in business, future leaders in arts and sciences and ministry and athletics and in the political arena. I believe I'm talking to the future leaders, young men and women who will have a real influence on people's lives. And I came today just to encourage you guys to use your gift, invest it into others, invest it into those around you, and let your life be a harvest. Let your life be a harvest. I was so thankful to be back here with you guys. Hope you guys took something from the message. I'll be available for you guys.